Okay, let's get started. It seems like quite a long paper actually, looking at it. I think the questions have got slightly less marks than other papers. We've got 17 questions to go through. But yeah, same stuff as before. So here we go then. We'll get question one. Find the x-coordinates of the stationary points on the curve. Okay, so you see words like stationary point, you should be thinking differentiation. Okay, so I'll be saying the first thing I'll do is I'll write my equation out. And sometimes this seems, people don't always start by writing the question, but it just gives you a wee chance to, think, get into the zone. What are you going to do? What's your strategy? Okay. So I would always recommend having a wee think. So that's your curve, yeah. So maybe your curve is doing something, like this. I don't know. Okay. And the stationary points are these points here, where the gradient m is equal to 0. Yeah, right here you've got a positive gradient, positive, 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 and then you get 0, then you get negative, 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 and then back to positive, positive, positive. So if we were to differentiate, I can work out the gradient at any point on my line. So yeah, you see stationary point, you should be thinking differentiate. So dy by dx, the rate of change. And again, I do recommend something along, just on the side, something nice and easy. Like if you just write down x cubed, if you differentiate that, dy by dx, you're going to get 3x squared. Just something that reminds you what you're doing. So you're multiplying and then taking one away from the power. So if I multiply a half by 4, I'm going to get 2, take away 1 from the power, multiply, take 1 away from the power, and your units disappear. Fantastic. So that's me got my equation. I can now substitute in any value of x, and that will tell me the gradient at that point. So if I put in 1, it'll tell me the gradient of 1. If I put in 2, it'll tell me the gradient of 2, etc., etc. Now, I would like to know where the stationary point. So I will start by saying, well, dy by dx is equal to 0 for the stationary points. Yeah, I know that the gradient is 0. And if I look at this equation now, it's just a straightforward factorising equation, isn't it? So this one looks like a common factor. I'll take out 2 and I'll take out x squared. So it's going to give me x take away 3. And which values of x would give me 0? Well, this x here, if that was equal to 0, that would give me a 0. And if this x was equal to 3, that would also give me a 0. So that's my two x coordinates there. The question doesn't ask for a y coordinate. So we don't ask for a y coordinate. I can just stop the question there. That's absolutely fine. So a nice little question to get you started off with. Pardon me. Not too challenging. But for me, the major take home here is remember your statement. Make sure you're telling the marker what you're doing. Put something on the side to remind you how you differentiate, how you integrate, just so you're not making a silly mistake. And an awful lot of what you're doing higher will boil down to factorising. That's how you solve your equation. So remember that this will pop up quite a lot. Okay, but yeah, stationary point, you should be thinking to yourself, differentiate.